Today we're going to do advanced C1, C2 listening practice that feels real, natural, and useful for daily life. The goal is not only to understand English, but to understand it fast, with nuance, with attitude, with the kind of meaning that lives between the words. Before we begin, let me give you one simple rule that will change your listening. Do not chase every word, chase the message, and then chase the intention, because at an advanced level, the hardest part is not vocabulary, it's implication. It's what the speaker really means, why they chose that word, why they paused, why they softened the sentence, why they didn't say something directly. So as you listen today, I want you to practice 3 layers at the same time. First, the literal meaning, what was said. Second, the emotional meaning, how it was said. And third, the social meaning, what it does in the conversation. Does it soften? Does it push? Does it invite? Does it end the discussion? This is how C1, C2 listening works in real life. Let's warm up gently. Repeat after me in your mind first, then out loud. I get the general idea, but I'm missing a few details. I followed most of that. Can you say it a bit more slowly? So what you're saying is, just to clarify, do you mean, I'm not sure I'm interpreting that correctly? These are advanced listening support phrases, not because they are complicated, but because they keep the conversation elegant, even when you're struggling. Now let's train your ear for subtle differences. Imagine 2 people in a cafe. One says, "That's interesting," and the other says, "That's interesting." Same words, completely different meaning. The first is neutral, the second is skeptical, maybe polite disagreement, and you can only catch that through tone and pause. That is C1, C2 listening. You hear the attitude, not just the words. Here is your first mini practice. I will say a sentence, then I will say a second sentence that sounds similar, but means something different. Your job is to notice the difference and then repeat each one slowly. Ready? I didn't say you were wrong. I didn't say you were wrong. If the stress is on say, it suggests maybe I implied it. If the stress is on you, it suggests someone else is wrong. If the stress is on wrong, it suggests you might be something else, like mistaken or uninformed. This is why advanced listening is like reading facial expressions with your ears. Now we'll move into a daily life story, but advanced, realistic, with layered meaning. Listen slowly, picture it clearly, and after each paragraph, pause and repeat key lines out loud. This morning, I stepped out earlier than usual, not because I'm productive, but because my brain wouldn't let me sleep. I had that restless kind of energy that feels like caffeine, even when you haven't had any. And I thought, fine, if I'm awake, I might as well make it useful. I decided to walk instead of taking a ride, partly for fresh air, partly to clear my head, and partly because when you walk, you notice things you normally miss. The sound of shutters opening, the smell of bread, the way the city wakes up in stages, as if it's stretching. On the way, I passed a small grocery store that's always open too early. and I saw the owner rearranging fruit with the seriousness of a surgeon. Every apple in a neat line, every orange turned to face the same direction. And I suddenly thought, there's something comforting about that. The idea that at least one thing in the world is being handled carefully. As I kept walking, my phone buzzed. It was a message from someone I work with, not a close friend, but close enough that I can't ignore them. And the message said, "Quick question. Do you have a minute?" That phrase looks innocent, but it's never just a quick question. It's a door opening into a longer conversation. And in my head, I immediately weighed two options: respond now and lose 15 minutes, or respond later and risk seeming unhelpful. This is where advanced listening and communication overlap. Because the words people choose, quick question, do you have a minute? When you get a chance, they're not just words, they are strategies, polite packaging, social cushioning, and you need to hear what's underneath: the urgency, the expectation, the hidden request. I replied, "I'm on the move right now, but I can call you in about 20 minutes. Is that okay?" Notice how this sentence does several things at once. It sets a boundary, but it stays warm. It doesn't say no. It offers a specific alternative, and it ends with a soft check-in. Is that okay? Which keeps the relationship smooth. A few minutes later, I arrived at my usual place to sit and think. Not a glamorous spot, just a small corner table near a window. The kind of seat where you can watch people without being watched too much. And I ordered something simple, because I didn't want my choice to become a decision I'd regret later. While I waited, I listened to the conversations around me. And this is where your listening practice gets interesting. Because real English is messy, people interrupt, they trail off. They correct themselves, they leave sentences unfinished, and yet they still understand each other perfectly. At the table behind me, a woman said, I don't want to be dramatic, but it was kind of a disaster. That sentence is packed with meaning. Buys time. I don't want to be dramatic is a shield. It suggests she's about to be dramatic and kind of softens the blow, but a disaster still lands strongly. Advanced listening means you don't only hear disaster, you hear how she prepared the listener for it. Her friend replied, "Okay, but what happened?" Again, notice the style. Okay signals attention, but like signals curiosity and a casual tone. What happened is the core question, and the listener is invited into the story. Now your practice. Repeat these two lines out loud, slowly, with the same rhythm. I don't want to be dramatic, but it was kind of a disaster. Okay, but what happened? Try to mimic the pauses, because at C1, C2, rhythm is comprehension. Let's upgrade the language now. Imagine you're the speaker and you want to sound a bit more precise, a bit more mature. Not stiff, just clean. Here are advanced alternatives. I'm not exaggerating, but it really didn't go well. I'm trying not to overstate it, but it was genuinely chaotic. I don't want to make it sound worse than it was, but it was a mess. Say each one slowly, and feel the difference in tone. Now the story continues. When my coffee arrived, I finally called my coworker, and before I could say hello properly, they launched into their question. Not rude, just anxious. The kind of anxious that makes people skip politeness because their brain is already on the problem. They said, "So, I might have messed something up, and I'm trying to fix it before it turns into a bigger issue." That sentence is advanced because it's honest and careful. Might have shows uncertainty. Messed something up is informal and self critical. Trying to fix it shows responsibility. And before it turns into a bigger issue, shows awareness of consequences. In one sentence, you get character. I responded, "All right, talk me through what you did, step by step, and don't panic." Notice this is a leadership sentence. All right calms, talk me through, invites details, step by step, adds structure, don't panic, addresses emotion. And when you hear this kind of sentence, you should hear not only meaning, but function. They explained, and as they spoke, I noticed something common in advanced conversations. People often tell the story in the wrong order. They start with the stress, then backfill details, then jump forward again, and the listener has to quietly organize the timeline in their head. This is why advanced listening is also advanced thinking. Here's a listening exercise for you. I will give you a slightly messy explanation, and your job is to mentally sort it into a clear timeline. So, I sent the file, but I think it was the older version. And then the client replied, and I realized the numbers were off. But actually, earlier this morning, I had changed one section and I forgot to update the chart. And now I'm trying to see if I can correct it before anyone notices. Now pause and repeat the cleaned up version out loud. I changed the section this morning, but I forgot to update the chart, so I accidentally sent an older version. The client replied, and I realized the numbers were off. Now I'm correcting it quickly. This exercise is powerful because it trains you to listen for structure, not chaos. I told my coworker, "This is fixable, but we need to move carefully. First, confirm what the client received. Second, send the corrected version with a clear note. And third, document the change so we don't repeat it." Even though I used first, second, third, I'm keeping it in a single spoken flow, Grinson, and you can repeat it as one paragraph, one breath, one plan. Now repeat after me. This is fixable, but we need to move carefully. Let's confirm what they received. Then we'll send the corrected version with a clear note. And we'll document the change so it doesn't happen again. Say it slowly with calm confidence, because advanced English is not only vocabulary, it's composure. When the call ended, I sat back and thought about how often adults carry stress silently. We speak professionally. We smile. We say no problem. And then our shoulders hold all the tension. And the truth is, listening becomes harder when you're tense because your brain is spending energy on emotion, not on language. So here is a micro reset. Inhale slowly, relax your jaw, and repeat this line. I can understand more when I relax. Again, I can understand more when I relax. One more time. I can understand more when I relax. This isn't motivational fluff, it's cognitive reality. Now, we'll practice a different daily life situation, one that demands C1, C2 listening because it involves indirect language. Imagine you're talking to a friend and they're upset, but they don't want to say it directly. Your friend says, "It's fine. It's whatever." If you take that literally, you might think they're okay, but advanced listeners hear the opposite. "It's fine" can mean, "I'm not fine." "It's whatever" can mean, "I care a lot, but I'm trying not to show it." And your response should match what they mean, not what they said. Here are 3 advanced responses. Repeat each one. "Hey, I can tell something's off. Do you want to talk about it?" "I'm here, and I'm listening. What's going on?" "You don't have to pretend with me. If it's bothering you, we can unpack it." These lines are emotionally intelligent, and they are also listening tools because they invite clarity. Now imagine the friend responds, "I don't know. I just feel like I'm always the one trying." That sentence is vulnerable, and the word always is rarely factual. It's emotional. It means often to some or recently, but it feels like always. Advanced listening means you respect the emotion without arguing with the literal word. Repeat after me. "That sounds exhausting." "I'm sorry you're feeling that way." What makes you feel like you're carrying it alone? Do you want advice? Or do you just want someone to listen? These are high-level responses because they manage the conversation gently. Let's do a final listening drill. For this part, you will hear a sentence, then you will hear 2 interpretations. Your job is to choose the most accurate interpretation. Ready? I'll think about it. Interpretation 1. They genuinely need time and will decide later. Interpretation 2. They are politely saying no without saying no. In real life, both are possible. So, advanced listening uses context, tone, and timing. If they said it quickly, without eye contact, it might be a soft no. If they said it thoughtfully and asked questions, it might be real consideration. Now repeat these 2 versions out loud with different tones. I'll think about it. Warm and open. I'll think about it. Flat and closed. Train your ear to hear the difference and train your voice to express it, because speaking and listening grow together. As we close this section, remember what you practiced: listening for intention, organizing messy information, hearing indirect emotion, and responding with calm precision. This is the real C1, C2 skill set. Not flashy words, but strong comprehension under real-life pressure. Now we continue, and I want you to shift from understanding English to reading people through English, because at an advanced level, listening is not just decoding words, it's noticing what the speaker avoids, what they emphasize, and what they assume you already know. Think of listening like walking into a room with dim light. At first, you see shapes, then you see details, then you notice the texture, and finally, you notice what is missing. The missing details matter because people often hide their real point inside vague language, polite language, or tired language. Let's start with a daily life scenario that happens everywhere. Someone cancels plans, and the way they cancel tells you everything. Imagine a friend texts, "Hey, something came up. Can we reschedule?" That could be genuine, or it could be a soft exit. An advanced listener doesn't accuse, but they quietly collect clues. Here is how you practice. Listen for 3 signals: timing, specificity, and warmth. Timing means how late they canceled. Specificity means whether they offer details or an alternative. Warmth means whether they show care about your time. Now repeat these 2 different cancellation styles and feel the difference. First version. "Hey, I'm really sorry. Something came up with my family. Can we do tomorrow evening instead? I'll make it up to you." Second version. "Hey, something came up. Maybe another time." Both are polite, but the first contains responsibility and a clear plan. The second is vague and open-ended, and in real life, vague plus open-ended often equals low priority. Not always, but often. Your practice now. Say this out loud, slowly. "No worries. Thanks for telling me. Tomorrow evening works. What time suits you?" And then say the second response. "Okay, just let me know when you're free." Notice how the first response keeps momentum. The second leaves it floating, as if you're not sure it will happen. Now let's train a core C1, C2 skill. Politely refusing without sounding cold, because many advanced conversations are built on soft refusals, not direct no. And if you don't catch them, you misunderstand people, and you also risk pushing too hard. Listen to these lines and tell yourself what they really mean. "I'm not sure that's the best use of time." It might be tough to pull off, and I hear you, but I'm not convinced. Let's circle back. Mm, we can revisit that later. These are common in work and daily life, and they often mean, "I don't want to do this. Not now, maybe never, but I want to stay polite." Repeat each one out loud, and then repeat a clearer paraphrase. "I'm not sure that's the best use of time," meaning, I don't think we should do it. That might be tough to pull off, meaning it's unrealistic. "I hear you, I see, but I'm not convinced," and meaning you haven't persuaded me. Let's circle back, meaning let's postpone the decision. We can revisit that later, meaning not today. This is advanced listening, converting polite language into honest meaning without getting offended. Now imagine you're at a store and you want to return something, but the return period is over. The employee says, "Normally, we'd be able to do that, but our system won't let us." This is a polite refusal wrapped in "normally" and "but" ever since, and the key phrase is, "Our system won't let us," which removes personal responsibility. It's not their choice. It's the rule. Your practice. Repeat your calm response. "I understand. Is there anything you can do as an exception? Or any store credit option?" This response is advanced because it respects their position, asks for flexibility, and keeps the conversation professional. Now listen to an even more subtle version. I can check with my manager, but I can't promise anything. That sentence is a soft boundary. It warns you not to expect a yes. An advanced listener hears the warning and doesn't push aggressively. Instead, they respond with courtesy. Repeat after me. Of course, I appreciate you checking. Anything you can do would help. Let's move into a story that trains real life listening speed. Imagine you're in a taxi or ride. The driver is talking quickly, mixing small talk and information, and you need to follow without panic. Yesterday, I took a ride across town, and the driver started telling me about road closures. But he didn't explain it cleanly. He jumped between topics. He said, "So they're doing construction near the bridge. It's been a mess. Since last week, you know that road by the market? Yeah, that one. It's blocked half the day. But if we go around, we might hit traffic near the school. Depends on the time. It's always like this. After the holidays, this kind of speech is natural. It's not textbook. And your goal is to catch the main decision. The main decision is bridge route is messy, market road blocked, school area traffic. So the driver is choosing the least bad option. Advanced listening means you don't try to remember every detail. You identify the decision points. Now your practice. Summarize the message in one sentence. Say it out loud. The bridge and market route are blocked or messy, so we need an alternate route, but there might be traffic near the school. Excellent. That is how you listen like a native, by compressing meaning. Now we raise the difficulty, sarcasm, and dry humor. These are major C1, C2 listening challenges because the words can mean the opposite, and the tone does the real work. Imagine someone says, "Oh, great. Just what I needed today." Literally, it sounds positive, but in most contexts, it is negative. It means, "This is the last thing I needed." Or someone says, "Love that for me." It can be genuine, but often it's ironic, meaning, "Of course this happens to me." Repeat these lines with an ironic tone. "Oh, great, just what I needed today." "Love that for me." "Amazing, truly." Now repeat them with genuine positivity. "Oh, great, just what I needed today." "Love that for me." "Amazing, truly." Notice how your voice changes the meaning. And in listening, you must detect that voice change quickly. Here is a daily life micro dialogue. Listen and then repeat. "Did your laptop crash again?" "Yeah, because my life is peaceful and stable." Obviously. The second line is sarcasm, and you can hear it through exaggeration and tone. Advanced listening pays attention to exaggeration words like obviously, sure, as if, right. Now practice these sarcasm markers. Repeat after me. "Yeah, sure, right, because that makes sense." As if I needed more problems? Fantastic. Really? You don't have to use sarcasm often, but you must understand it. Otherwise, you misread people. Now we switch to another essential advanced skill, hedging and diplomacy. Hedging is when people soften their opinion to sound reasonable. Very common in professional and social life. Listen to these phrases. "I could be wrong, but from my perspective." I see what you mean, though I'm not entirely sure. It seems like there's a chance that these phrases don't mean weakness. They mean social intelligence. They keep conversations calm and they protect relationships. Your practice. I'll give you a strong opinion. You will soften it using hedging. Strong opinion. That idea will fail. Softer version. I'm not sure that idea will work in practice. Strong opinion. You're overreacting. Softer version. I can see this matters to you. I wonder if we're reacting to the worst case scenario. Strong opinion. This is pointless. I chose softer version. I'm not convinced this adds value right now. Say the soft versions out loud and feel how adult and professional they sound. Now we go into a relatable daily life scene, a small misunderstanding with a friend, the kind of moment where advanced listening saves the relationship. A friend once told me, "You didn't reply, so I assumed you didn't care." That sentence is emotionally loaded. The logic is simple, but the emotion is heavy. And if you respond literally, you might argue, "That's not true." But advanced listening responds to the emotion first. Repeat after me. "I'm sorry it came across that way. I do care. I was overwhelmed and I should have communicated better." This sentence is powerful because it validates their feeling, confirms care, explains without making excuses, and takes responsibility. Now try a second version. "Thank you for telling me. I didn't realize it affected you like that. I'll be more mindful." Again, this is C1, C2 communication built on listening. Let's make it harder. Sometimes people do not accuse directly. They hint. They say, "It's fine. I just won't bother you next time." That is not fine. That is a signal. The speaker is hurt and withdrawing. Advanced listeners catch the withdrawal signal. Your practice response. Repeat after me. "Hey, please don't withdraw. I want you to tell me what you need, what happened, and how can I make it right?" This response invites clarity, and it turns a hint into an honest conversation. Now we train listening for contrast words, because contrast words flip meaning, even if the sentence starts positive. Words like but, though, however, still, at the same time. They indicate the real point often comes after them. Listen. I appreciate the effort, but the result isn't quite there yet. The praise is real, but the main message is correction. Listen. I like the idea, though I'm worried about the timing. The like is real. But the main message is concern. Listen, that's a fair point. However, we have budget limits. Agreement first, limit second. Practice by repeating. I appreciate the effort, but the result isn't quite there yet. I like the idea, though I'm worried about the timing. That's a fair point. However, we have budget limits. Now, say the after the contrast part alone, because that's often the core message. The result isn't quite there yet. I'm worried about the timing. We have budget limits. This trains you to catch the real point quickly. Now we end this part with a longer listening practice paragraph. You will listen with your eyes, but treat it like audio, read it slowly, and after you finish, repeat the summary sentence. Last night I was supposed to have a quiet evening, but a neighbor started playing music. Not extremely loud, just loud enough to be distracting. And for 10 minutes I tried to ignore it because I didn't want conflict. But the longer it continued, the more irritated I became. Not only because of the sound, but because of what it represented. The feeling that someone else's choices were controlling my peace. So I had to decide whether to stay silent and resentful or speak up politely and risk awkwardness. And in the end, I chose a simple message, short, respectful, direct, because indirect hints often fail. I wrote, "Hi, sorry to bother you. Would you mind lowering the music a little? I'm trying to rest." Now your summary sentence, say it out loud. She tried to ignore the noise, but it kept going. So she chose a polite, direct message to protect her peace. Perfect. That's advanced listening. Capture the meaning. Keep it simple. Keep it accurate. Stay with me. You're not just practicing English. You're practicing control, calm, and precision under real-life language. And that is exactly what C1, C2 sounds like. Good. Now we take the next step, listening for subtext in longer conversations. The kind where the real message isn't in one sentence. It's spread across the whole interaction. And if you only listen for keywords, you miss the point. At C1, C2, people rarely speak in clean textbook lines. They speak in layers. They correct themselves. They add to be honest. They soften with kind of. They protect with I'm just saying. And your job is to hear what each layer is doing. Let's train with a common daily life situation. Someone is giving you feedback, but they're trying to stay kind. Listen to this. "I think you did a lot of things well, and I really appreciate the effort. I just feel like the ending didn't land as strongly as it could." The feedback is real, but notice the architecture, praise, appreciation, then the gentle correction. "I just feel like" is a cushion. "Didn't land" is softer than "was bad," and "as strongly as it could" implies potential, not failure. Your practice? Repeat the key lines slowly. "The ending didn't land as strongly as it could." Now paraphrase it in your own words. "The ending could be stronger." That is the core meaning. And if you can extract the core meaning without emotional drama, you are listening at an advanced level. Now practice an advanced response, because listening includes responding in a way that keeps the relationship safe. Repeat after me. That's helpful. "Can you tell me what specifically felt weak? The pacing, the tone, or the conclusion?" This response is mature because it doesn't defend. It asks for clarity. It turns feedback into data. Now, we train for polite disagreement. One of the most frequent C1, C2 patterns. The speaker wants to disagree without starting a fight, so they use agreement language as a bridge. Then they shift, listen. "I see your point, and I get why you'd think that. I just don't think it plays out that way in real life." The key phrase is, "I just don't think." That's the pivot. And the earlier phrases are relational glue. Repeat. "I see your point, and I get why you'd think that." I just don't think it plays out that way in real life. Now repeat a shorter, advanced version. I see your point, but I'm not sure I agree in practice. Both are natural. Both are high level. Now imagine you hear this sentence. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying. Many learners misunderstand it. They think it means peace, but often it means the speaker feels defensive and they want the right to speak without consequences. An advanced listener hears this as a sign to slow down, ask questions, and reduce pressure. Practice a calming response. I hear you. I'm not assuming bad intent. I just want to understand what you mean. Say it slowly and notice how it removes heat from the conversation. Now we'll do a longer real-life dialogue style narrative, but still one voice. You will hear both sides through reported speech, and you will practice extracting meaning. Ready. Earlier this week, I met a friend who's always busy. Not busy in a productive way, busy in a scattered way, like their life is made of unfinished tabs. And they sat down and said, I'm exhausted, but I don't even know what I did all day. That sentence is extremely advanced because it's common and contradictory. Exhausted, but unclear, and many adults live exactly like that. I asked, is it physical tired or mental tired? Because those are different, and listening means choosing the right question, not the fastest question. They said, it's mental. I feel like my brain never shuts up. Now notice, never is emotional emphasis, like always. It means their experience feels constant. And if you reply literally, you might say, it shuts up sometimes, but that would be insensitive. An advanced listener treats never as a signal of intensity, not a factual statistic. Your response practice. Repeat. That sounds draining. What's been taking up the most space in your mind lately? This is advanced because it respects the emotion and invites specifics. They answered with something messy. They said, it's work, but also my family. And I keep thinking about money, and I'm trying to be healthier. And then I feel guilty because I'm not doing enough. And it's like, I'm behind even when I'm moving. This is real speech. And the core theme is pressure and guilt, not the list of topics. Your job is to hear the theme. Now your theme summary sentence. Say it out loud. They feel constant pressure and guilt from multiple areas, even when they're trying. Great. Theme listening is a C1, C2 skill. Now we practice reframing, a powerful listening response in daily life. Repeat after me. It sounds like you're carrying too many expectations at once. Maybe we can sort them into what's urgent, what's important, and what can wait. This response is advanced because it offers structure without lecturing. Now, let's train another difficult area, idiomatic understatement. In advanced English, people often use small words to describe big things, and if you take them literally, you underestimate the situation. Listen, it's been a bit of a rough week. A bit can mean extremely rough. Listen, I'm not thrilled about it. That can mean I strongly dislike it. Listen, that's not ideal. That can mean that's a serious problem. Understatement is polite culture, and you must learn to decode it. Repeat these lines. It's been a bit of a rough week. I'm not thrilled about it. That's not ideal. Now repeat the stronger meaning version. It's been a really hard week. I don't like it at all. That's a serious issue. Notice how advanced English often hides strong emotion behind gentle vocabulary. Now we practice softening again. Because C1, C2 listening includes noticing when someone is trying not to offend you. Imagine someone says, I'm not sure this is working. They might be talking about a plan or a relationship or a team, and they're choosing a soft approach to avoid drama. Your practice response. Okay, I appreciate the honesty. What part feels off? And what would working look like for you? Repeat it slowly. This response is advanced because it invites a concrete definition and keeps the conversation collaborative. Now, we move into a high-speed listening drill, the kind of fast explanation you hear at work, or when someone is multitasking. Your job is to catch the action items, even if the speech is messy. Listen to this style. So, the meeting got moved. It's now at 3 instead of 2. And the agenda changed. We'll start with the budget stuff, then we'll do the timeline. And also, can you bring that updated document, the one you mentioned? I think it's in the shared folder, but I couldn't find the latest version. Anyway, just bring whatever you have, and we'll adjust. Now pause and extract the action items. Say them out loud as one sentence. The meeting is at 3. We'll start with budget and timeline, and I should bring the updated document from the shared folder. Perfect. That is advanced listening in the real world. Now practice asking for precision. Just to confirm, the meeting is at 3. And you want the latest document I have, even if it isn't perfect, right? Repeat it. This is C1, C2 listening because it reduces mistakes and shows professionalism. Now let's do a daily life conflict. Subtle but common. You are with a friend, and they say something that feels like a small insult, but they hide it inside humor. This is tricky because you must listen without overreacting, but also without ignoring your boundaries. Imagine they say, wow, you're actually early for once. It can be playful or it can be a dig. Tone decides, context decides, and your job as an advanced listener is to interpret accurately, not emotionally. Here are 2 advanced responses. One playful, one boundary setting. Repeat the playful one. I know, I'm evolving. Don't get used to it. Now repeat the boundary one. I know you're joking, but that kind of comment can feel a bit sharp. Can we keep it light? This is advanced because it names the dynamic without aggression. Now we train the most advanced daily life listening skill. Negotiation without sounding like negotiation, because adults negotiate constantly. Time, favors, expectations, money, but they rarely say, I am negotiating. They just adjust language. Listen to this line, I can do it, but I'll need a bit more time. That's negotiation. Listen, I'm happy to help. As long as we're clear on priorities, that's negotiation. Listen, I can meet you halfway. That's negotiation. The words are simple. The function is advanced. Repeat each one. I can do it. but I'll need a bit more time. I'm happy to help, as long as we're clear on priorities. I can meet you halfway. Now repeat expanded versions. I can do it, but I need until tomorrow afternoon. I'm happy to help, but we need to agree on what matters most first. I can meet you halfway. I'll cover this part, and you handle the rest. These versions make the negotiation more explicit while staying polite. Now let's do a listening for boundaries practice. Because many people set boundaries indirectly, and if you don't hear them, as you keep asking kutir and you damage trust. Indirect boundary phrases include, I've got a lot on my plate right now. I'm trying to keep my schedule light. I'm not in the right headspace. I'm going to pass this time. Huchans. I can't commit to that. Sinku. Each one is a boundary, and the respectful response is to accept it without forcing explanation. Repeat after me. Totally understood. Thanks for telling me. We can do it another time. No problem at all. Take care of what you need. Thanks for being honest. I appreciate it. These responses are advanced because they respect autonomy and keep warmth. Now, we finish this section with a calm, realistic listening passage. Read it slowly. Imagine you are hearing it on a voice note, and then repeat the summary and a few key lines out loud. I received a voice note from a friend late at night. Their voice was quiet, not dramatic, just tired, and they said, I don't need you to fix anything. I just needed to tell someone. Today felt heavy, and I kept smiling like everything was normal, and I'm proud of myself for getting through it. But I also feel weirdly alone in it. The advanced listening here is not vocabulary. It is what the person is requesting. They explicitly say, I don't need you to fix anything. So, advice is not the first move. They want witnessing, presence, and understanding. And if you respond with solutions, you miss the request. Your practice response, repeat after me. Thank you for trusting me with that. I'm here and I'm listening. Do you want to tell me what made today feel heavy? Now, repeat a second response. You don't have to carry it alone. I'm with you, even if it's just through this message. These are C1, C2 responses because they match the emotional goal ju gilet. Now, your summary sentence, say it out loud. A friend felt heavy and alone, and they wanted presence, not solutions. Excellent. You're training the kind of listening that makes your English feel human, and that is the highest level of fluency. Now, let's go deeper. Because C1, C2 listening is often about navigating ambiguity. People rarely say exactly what they think. They say what is socially safe, what is emotionally manageable, or what keeps the conversation moving. And you learn to hear meaning that is implied rather than stated. A simple example, someone asks, "Are you free this weekend?" At first, it sounds like a normal question, but it can mean many things. They might want to meet, they might want a favor, they might be looking for emotional support, they might be checking your availability for an event. The words are the same. The intention changes. Advanced listening means you don't answer too fast. Here's a powerful C1, C2 response strategy. You answer with warmth, and you ask a clarifying question. Repeat after me. Possibly. What did you have in mind? "Mm." That sentence is small, but it protects your time and gives you context before you commit. Now we practice commitment language. Because advanced English has many levels between yes and no, and these levels matter. Listen, I can do that. I can probably do that. I'll try. I'll see what I can do. I'll get back to you. I can't promise. In daily life, these are not equal. I can do that is a commitment. I'll try is a soft maybe. I'll get back to you is delay, and sometimes delay is a soft no. Repeat these lines out loud and feel their strength. I can do that. I can probably do that. I'll try. I'll see what I can do. I'll get back to you. I can't promise. Now, practice translating them into clear meaning in your head. Commitment, likely, uncertain, low commitment, delay, warning. Now we enter a realistic daily life interaction. Someone is asking for help, but they are also anxious about being a burden, so they use minimizing language. They say, "Sorry to bother you. It's just a small thing. I hate to ask." An advanced listener hears the anxiety and responds with reassurance and boundaries, not irritation. Imagine someone says, "I hate to ask, but could you look over this quickly? It's probably fine. I just want a second opinion." The key here is not "look over this." The key is second opinion. They want reassurance. And they are trying to lower the cost by saying quickly and probably fine. This is your practice response. Repeat after me. Sure, I can take a quick look. What kind of feedback would help most? Clarity, tone, or structure? This response is advanced because it agrees, but it also asks for a target, so your help stays efficient. Now let's train for something even more. C1, C2, passive-aggressive language and polite pressure. This is tricky because the words look polite, but the emotional force is sharp. Listen to these examples. "No worries, I'll just do it myself." "It's fine. I didn't expect you to." "Must be nice to have so much free time." "Don't worry about it. Clearly you're busy." In many contexts, these are not calm. These are signals of resentment. And if you don't hear that, you respond wrongly. Your practice. Imagine you receive, "No worries, I'll just do it myself." A basic response might be, "Okay," which would make things worse. An advanced response addresses the hidden feeling without escalating. Repeat after me. I hear the frustration. I didn't mean to leave you carrying it alone. Tell me what you need from me right now. This response is high level because it names the emotion softly and invites collaboration. Now practice a second version. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize it landed that way. I can take my part back, or we can divide it differently." Again, it offers options, and advanced listening loves options. Now we shift to listening under distraction. Umare, real life is loud. There are notifications. People talk while walking. You are cooking, commuting, multitasking, and you still need comprehension. So we train with a cluttered sound environment in mind. One kun nerve. Imagine you're in a supermarket. Someone speaks through a mask or behind a counter. The sound is unclear. You must rely on context, and you must ask for repeats politely. The key is not to panic and not to pretend you understood when you didn't. Repeat after me. Sorry, could you repeat that once more? I didn't catch the last part. Did you say, just to confirm, you mean this one, right? These are advanced because they are smooth and respectful, and they protect accuracy. Now, a short listening passage. Imagine you hear this quickly. This one's on promotion, but only if you buy two, otherwise, it's full price. Now, your job is to repeat the decision rule. Say it out loud. It's only discounted if I buy two. Good. That is the core. Now, we go into a longer daily life story where the real meaning is hidden behind politeness. Picture a workplace conversation about priorities. One person is overloaded, the other is requesting more work, and the overloaded person refuses without sounding difficult. Someone says, "Can you take this on today?" The overloaded person says, "I can try, but I'm already tight on time, and I don't want to promise something I can't deliver." That is a boundary sentence wrapped in professionalism. The key phrase is, "I don't want to promise something I can't deliver," which signals, if you push me, you risk failure. So choose wisely. Your practice response as the requester, repeat. Thanks for being upfront. What's realistic for you today? And what can wait until tomorrow? This response is advanced because it respects limits and solves the scheduling problem. Now we train repair language. Repair language is how you fix misunderstandings in conversation. Natives use it constantly. What I'm trying to say is, let me rephrase that. To put it another way, cool. These phrases are listening signals. They tell you the speaker is adjusting meaning. Do not hold them to the first version. Repeat after me. Let me rephrase that. What I mean is, to put it another way, that came out wrong. What I'm trying to say is, when you hear these, lean in, because the next sentence is usually the true message. Now we practice with a realistic example. I'm not upset, I'm just disappointed. Like, I expected more communication. The speaker is repairing their own emotion. They start with not upset, then correct to disappointed, then specify the need, more communication. Advanced listeners track that shift and respond to the final clarified need. Your response practice. Repeat after me. I understand you wanted clearer communication. I can do better. What would you like from me going forward? More updates or faster replies? And this response is advanced because it turns emotion into request. Now we move into one of the most difficult listening topics at C1, C2, indirect compliments and indirect criticism, because in English-speaking cultures, people often criticize softly and compliment in a casual way, and if you miss it, you miss social meaning. Indirect compliment. That was actually really well handled. The word actually suggests expectation was lower, but they are impressed now. Indirect criticism. It's a good start. That can mean, It's not finished, or it needs work. Indirect criticism, interesting approach. That can mean, I'm not sure it's right. Repeat after me. That was actually really well handled. It's a good start. Interesting approach. Now practice the mindset. Do not overreact. Just ask for clarity. Here are your advanced follow-up questions. Repeat. Thanks. What specifically worked well? When you say good start, what would you improve next? When you say interesting, do you have concerns or are you just curious? These questions are polite, precise, and they turn vague feedback into useful information. Now we do a daily life relationship listening drill. Something subtle, a person says they're fine, but their behavior says otherwise. Advanced listening includes noticing contradictions between words and tone. But now repeat a slightly more direct version. I'm sensing a little distance. Did I do something? Or are you just overwhelmed? This is advanced because it uses I'm sensing instead of accusing, and it offers two possible explanations. Now we end with a focused listening exercise on vague time words. Because daily life is full of them, and misunderstanding them causes friction. Listen, I'll be there soon. I'll do it later. I'll call you in a bit. I'll send it in a minute. At C1, C2, you learn that these phrases are elastic. Soon might be 10 minutes or an hour. In a minute might be not literally 1 minute. It can mean shortly or your practice. When you need clarity, you ask for precision politely, repeat, no rush, but what time do you think? Just so I plan properly, are we talking 10 minutes or closer to an hour? When you say later, Tars, do you mean today or another day? These are excellent C1, C2 questions. They keep relationships smooth. Now, a final listening passage to close this section. Read slowly, imagine the tone, then summarize in one sentence. This afternoon, someone told me, I've been meaning to reach out. I just haven't had the energy to be social. It's not personal. I've just been a bit low lately. And I didn't want to show up half present. The advanced meaning here is care and honesty. The person isn't rejecting you. They're protecting you from their depleted state. And they're also asking for patience without demanding it. Your response practice. Repeat after me. Thank you for telling me. I'm sorry it's been heavy. You don't have to perform for me. I'm here, and we can keep it simple. Now, your summary sentence, say it out loud. They've been low on energy, it's not personal, and they want patience and simplicity. Excellent. Keep going. Because each time you practice this kind of listening, your English becomes less like a language you learned, aren't, and more like a language you live. Now we move into a slightly different kind of advanced listening, the kind that tests your patience, because sometimes the speaker is not clear, not because they are trying to be indirect, but because they are thinking while talking and they expect you to keep up. In real life, people speak in drafts. They start a sentence, change direction, add a side comment, then return to the point. And if you need perfect structure to understand, you will feel lost. So today, we train flexibility. You will learn to stay calm and hold the thread. Here is a simple mental tool. While you listen, keep asking yourself, what is the speaker trying to achieve right now? Are they explaining, requesting, complaining, persuading, apologizing, or bonding? When you identify the purpose, the messy words become easier to organize. Let's practice with a messy explanation. Imagine you hear, "So, I was going to do it yesterday, but then something happened with my phone and I couldn't access the app. And then I thought maybe it's better if I wait until today because I didn't want to rush. Anyway, I'll do it later. I just wanted you to know I didn't forget." The purpose is not the phone. The purpose is reassurance. I didn't forget. That's the emotional center. Advanced listening finds the center quickly. Your summary practice, say it out loud. They're explaining delays, but mainly, they want me to know they didn't forget. Good. Now your response practice. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. This response matches the purpose, reassurance. Now, we go into a very common C1, C2 environment, customer service language. Whether you're the customer or the staff, the sentences are often polite, formulaic, and full of indirect meaning. And understanding them makes you sound and feel fluent. Listen to these lines. Let me see what I can do. I completely understand where you're coming from. Unfortunately, that's not something we're able to offer. What I can do is, would you like me to escalate this? These lines often signal the stage of the interaction, empathy, limitation, which is in combined options, next steps. Repeat them slowly, sir. Let me see what I can do. I completely understand where you're coming from. Unfortunately, that's not something we're able to offer. What I can do is, would you like me to escalate this? Now in your mind, attach the function, problem solving, empathy, refusal, alternative, escalation. Now imagine you are the customer. You want to sound calm and precise, not emotional. Repeat after me. Thanks for looking into it. Could you explain what my options are? I understand the policy. Is there any flexibility in my situation? If there's nothing you can do, could you tell me who I should contact next? These responses are advanced because they stay respectful while still advocating for yourself. Now we shift to a daily life situation that requires listening for hidden comparisons. People compare without saying, I'm comparing. They say, psych. Some people can handle that, or not everyone has the same support, right? Or must be nice. Wait, these are comparisons. Sometimes envy, sometimes frustration, and advanced listeners don't miss the emotional layer. Imagine someone says, I wish I could just take a day off whenever I feel like it. The literal meaning is a wish. The emotional meaning might be resentment or exhaustion or feeling trapped. An advanced listener responds to the emotion and the reality, not the surface wish. Repeat after me. That sounds like you're really worn out. Are you feeling stuck right now? Now repeat another response. Yeah, not having flexibility can feel suffocating. What would help you most? Rest, support, or a plan. These responses are advanced because they turn a complaint into a deeper conversation. Now let's train for agreement that isn't agreement. This is a classic advanced listening trap. Sometimes people say, yeah, right, sure, but they are not agreeing. They are simply acknowledging that they heard you. This is why you must listen for tone and follow up. Listen to these two versions. Version 1, yeah, totally. Version 2, yeah, sure. The first sounds engaged, the second sounds reluctant. Now repeat both with different tones. Yeah, totally. Yeah, sure. This will sharpen your ear because you'll feel the difference inside your mouth and chest. Now imagine you propose a plan, and the person replies, yeah, sure, whatever you want. That can be a sign of low energy, or passive resistance, or genuine flexibility. Context decides. And advanced listeners don't assume the best or worst immediately. They verify gently. Repeat after me. I'm okay either way, but I want to make sure you're actually on board. What would you prefer? That sentence is emotionally intelligent and prevents future resentment. Now we move into listening for responsibility. See who's. Because in daily life, people often use language to avoid blame. They say, it happened, it got lost, mistakes were made, there was a misunderstanding, or instead of a true, oh, I did it, or I forgot, or I misunderstood when Sue's Simkrum. An advanced listener notices this, not to judge, but to understand the dynamic. Listen, there was a misunderstanding. That is vague. It removes agents. It hides who did what. Sometimes it's polite. Sometimes it's avoidance. Now practice asking for clarity without accusation. Repeat after me, just so I'm clear. What exactly was misunderstood? And what should we do differently next time? One fun. This is advanced because it is forward-focused. It invites facts without shame. Now, we do a short story about a small conflict where responsibility language matters. I once had a situation where a friend arrived very late, and when they came, they said, sorry, traffic was crazy. That might be true, but it also avoids the bigger truth. Leaving late, not planning buffer time, not updating me. Advanced listening includes hearing what was not said and choosing a response that fits the relationship. A harsh response would be, that's your fault. But an advanced response can hold both kindness and boundaries. Repeat after me. I get it. Traffic happens. But next time, can you message me earlier? It helps me plan and it feels more respectful. That sentence is honest and calm. It doesn't attack. It requests a specific behavior change. Now practice a shorter version. No worries. Just keep me posted next time. And practice an even firmer version. I understand, but being this late doesn't work for me. I need more notice. Having multiple tones ready is advanced communication, and it begins with advanced listening. Now we shift to a C1, C2 listening workout. Fast opinion plus justification. This is common in podcasts, debates, daily conversation. The speaker gives a strong view and then explains quickly. Your job is to catch the structure, claim, reason, example, listen. Honestly, I don't think working late is productive because after a certain hour, you're just tired and sloppy. Like, you might be sitting there, but the quality drops. The structure is clear, claim, not productive. Reason, tired and sloppy. Example, quality drops, advanced. Listeners identify that structure automatically. Your practice. Summarize in one sentence. They think working late isn't productive because tiredness reduces quality. Now repeat the sentence with advanced phrasing. After a certain hour, output declines, even if you stay at your desk. This kind of paraphrasing trains comprehension and expression together. Now we move into soft persuasion. Daily life is full of it. Someone tries to influence you without sounding controlling. They say, "It might be worth considering. Have you thought about?" Just a suggestion. You could always. These are persuasion signals. Advanced listeners notice them and respond without defensiveness. Repeat these persuasion openers. It might be worth considering. Have you thought about? Just a suggestion. You could always. Now, practice responding in a calm way. That's a fair point. I'll think about it. Interesting. What makes you suggest that? I appreciate it. I'll consider it. These responses show maturity and keep your autonomy. Now, a daily life example. Imagine your friend says, "It might be worth considering therapy, just to have support." Some learners hear this as criticism. Advanced listeners hear it as care. The correct response depends on tone and relationship. But a strong C1, C2 response is curious and grounded. Repeat after me. I appreciate you saying that. What made you think of it? And another version. Thank you. I've been thinking about support too. I'm just not sure where to start. These responses accept care without feeling attacked. Now we end with an advanced listening passage that includes hesitation, self-correction, and subtle meaning. Read it slowly, then repeat key lines out loud. Today I was talking to someone who said, "I'm happy for you. I really am. It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm also processing my own stuff. So if I seem a little distant, it's not because I'm not proud of you. It's just taking me a second." This passage is advanced because it contains mixed emotions, happiness and pain at the same time, and the speaker is doing emotional management. They are trying not to hurt you. They are explaining their distance and asking for patience. An advanced listener hears the love inside the awkwardness. Your response practice. Repeat after me. Thank you for being honest. I understand. Take your time, and I'm here for you too. Now repeat a second response. I appreciate you telling me. I won't take it personally, and I hope things feel lighter for you soon. These responses match the emotional complexity. Now your summary sentence, say it out loud. They are proud of me, but they're also dealing with their own emotions and they want patience. Excellent. You're training your ear for real adult English, where meaning is layered and where understanding someone fully is more important than catching every single word. Now we train one of the most powerful C1, C2 listening abilities. Staying present in long conversations without zoning out. Because advanced English often comes in long stretches, stories, explanations, emotional talks, and your brain can drift even if your vocabulary is strong. So here is your listening posture. Imagine you're holding a thread gently between your fingers. The thread is the main point. Every time the speaker adds details, you keep holding the thread, and if you feel yourself drifting, you return to the thread by asking, "What is the main point right now?" Let's practice with a long, realistic story, and you will do three things. First, visualize. Second, notice transitions. And third, summarize. Do not worry about perfection. Stay calm and stay consistent. This week, I had one of these days where everything technically went fine, but I still felt irritated. Not because something terrible happened, but because of small repeated friction, like the world kept gently bumping into me, and I couldn't find my rhythm. The morning started with a simple plan: get up, answer a few messages, handle one important task, and then finally have a clear head. But instead, I opened my email and saw a chain of messages that had grown overnight. People replying, forwarding, adding questions. Each message not huge on its own, but together it felt like a swarm. I noticed something about myself. When I feel overwhelmed, my listening gets shallow. I can hear words, but I don't process intention. I skim, I rush, and then I make mistakes. So I forced myself to slow down. And I said, okay, what's the actual decision here? This is a C1, C2 listening skill you can copy when you hear a lot of information, ask yourself, what decision is being made? Because in professional and daily life, most conversations orbit decisions, even emotional ones. The decision might be, do we talk about it now or later? Do we apologize or defend? Do we meet or cancel? Your practice, repeat after me. What's the actual decision here? Again, what's the actual decision here? Now, another phrase. What do you need from me right now? Information, approval, or action? This phrase is advanced because it creates clarity quickly. Now the story continues. Later that day, Concord, I met someone for a quick catch-up, and they arrived with a very specific kind of energy, the kind where you can tell they want to vent, but they also want to look calm. So they smile, but their sentences come out sharp. They sat down and said, "It's been a day." That sentence is short, but it's loaded. It means I'm tired, I'm annoyed, I have a story, and I might need support. If you respond with something too cheerful, you miss the tone. So I responded softly. Oh yeah, what happened? Your practice? Repeat. It's been a day. Now repeat a matching response. Oh yeah, what happened? Now a slightly more supportive response. Do you want to talk about it? Or do you want a distraction? This is advanced listening because it offers two supportive modes. They began talking quickly. So my manager called me in, and it wasn't even about anything big, but the way they said it, it felt like they were implying I wasn't pulling my weight. And honestly, I've been doing so much. So I just sat there like, okay, sure. And then later, they emailed me like everything was normal, like they didn't just ruin my mood. This is realistic speech. And the key listening point is not every detail. The key is the emotional injury, implying I wasn't pulling my weight, and the secondary issue, then acting normal, which can feel invalidating. Advanced listeners identify the emotional injury first and then ask a question that opens clarity. Your response practice. Repeat after me. That sounds really frustrating. What exactly did they say that made it feel like an implication? This question is advanced because it moves from emotion to evidence without dismissing feelings. Now, imagine they reply. They said, "We just need you to be a bit more proactive." And I wanted to ask, proactive compared to what? But I didn't, because I didn't want to sound defensive. This is C1, C2 listening gold, because you see the social strategy, the person held back to avoid looking defensive. Advanced listeners notice that social calculation, your practice. Repeat. Proactive compared to what? Now repeat a polished version. Can you clarify what more proactive looks like in this context? That sentence is a professional clarification question, and it keeps dignity. Now we practice translation from vague feedback into specific behavior. Because vague feedback is common, be more proactive, communicate better, take initiative, be more visible, and advanced listeners don't just nod. They ask for examples. Repeat after me. When you say more proactive, can you give me an example of what you'd like to see? Now, what would success look like in your eyes? Now, which situations are you referring to specifically? These lines are powerful in work and daily life because they force clarity politely. Now we shift to a different daily life setting, a doctor's appointment or any formal appointment where the language is faster, more technical, and your anxiety can block comprehension. Advanced listening includes managing anxiety by asking clean questions. Imagine a professional says, based on your symptoms, it's likely mild, but we'll run a few tests to rule out anything serious. And in the meantime, keep an eye on it. The key phrases are rule out and keep an eye on it, iskup, which are idioms and common professional language. Practice repeating. We'll run a few tests to rule out anything serious. In the meantime, I'll keep an eye on it. Now paraphrase. We'll test to make sure it's nothing serious, and I'll monitor it for now. This is advanced because it turns idioms into clear meaning. Now your question practice. Could you explain what you're trying to rule out? What sign should I watch for? When should I follow up? These questions are C1, C2 because they are precise and calm. Now we train listening for reassurance versus warning, because in professional language, reassurance and warning are often blended. It's likely mild, but that but means there's still a possibility of something more serious, and they want to cover that responsibly. Advanced listening respects both sides, not only the reassurance. Repeat after me. So it's probably mild, but you want to be cautious, right? This confirms understanding without panic. Now we move into advanced listening for storytelling cues. Turiku, when people tell stories, they signal importance with phrases like The thing is, what really bothered me was the worst part was, to be honest, long story short, these are signposts. And at C1, C2, you notice them automatically. Repeat these cues. The thing is, what really bothered me was the worst part was, to be honest. Long story short. Now practice listening for the sentence that comes immediately after, because that sentence usually contains the core meaning. Now, a mini story using those cues. To be honest, I wasn't upset about the mistake. What really bothered me was the way they blamed me in front of everyone. The mistake is not the main issue. The public blame is advanced listening catches that and responds to the true wound. Your response practice. Repeat after me. I'm sorry. Being blamed publicly can feel humiliating. Did you get a chance to address it afterward? This response is advanced because it validates and then invites the next step. Now we shift to one of the most difficult listening domains, humor that relies on cultural assumptions. Sometimes you won't get it, and that's fine. But advanced listeners have strategies to survive and stay included without feeling embarrassed. If someone tells a joke and you don't fully catch it, you can respond with curiosity, not pretending. Repeat after me. I think I missed it. What does that mean? Another version. Wait, explain that part to me. Another such, I'm not sure I get the reference. What's it about? These are advanced because they are confident. You don't act ashamed. You act curious. Now practice a smoother social line. That went over my head, but I'm interested. This line is friendly and honest. Now we close this section with a longer listening passage that blends daily life, boundaries, and polite truth. Read it slowly, and then repeat the key lines that show advanced meaning. Someone told me recently, I care about you. I really do. But I've realized I can't be available in the same way right now. I'm trying to protect my energy, not because you've done anything wrong, but because I've been running on empty, and I don't want to become resentful. This is advanced language because it expresses care and a boundary at the same time. It refuses without blaming, and it explains the reason. Protect my energy, running on empty, rubies, don't want to become resentful. Those are key phrases, and an advanced listener does not argue. They respect the boundary and protect the relationship. Your response practice. Repeat after me. Thank you for telling me directly. I respect that, and I'm glad you're protecting yourself. I'm here in a way that feels healthy for you. Now repeat another response. I understand. I won't pressure you, and I appreciate your honesty. These responses are C1, C2 because they respond to the whole message. Care plus boundary, not just one part. Now your summary sentence, say it out loud. They care, but they need less availability to protect their energy and avoid resentment. Excellent. Keep listening like this, calm, structured, human. Because this is the level where English stops being an exam and becomes a real relationship tool. Now we shift to a skill that separates advanced listeners from everyone else, listening for what is not being said, not in a paranoid way, but in a realistic way, because people often leave out the most important thing, either because they feel awkward, or because they assume you understand, or because they're protecting themselves. In daily life, silence is also language. Hesitation is language. Changing the subject is language. And at C1, C2, you start to hear these signals. The way you hear words, you notice a pause that is too long. You notice a laugh that doesn't match the sentence. You notice a reply that is technically polite but emotionally distant. Let's start with a simple scenario. You ask someone, "How was your day?" And they answer, "Fine." That answer could be genuinely fine, or it could be a closed door. The trick is not to force it open, but to offer a softer path. Advanced listening means you respect the door while still showing care. Repeat after me. "Okay, I'm here if you feel like talking later." Now a second line. "Anything you want to get off your chest, or do you want a quiet evening?" These responses are advanced because they invite without pressuring. Now we train tone shifts, because the most important information sometimes arrives as a tone shift, not as a word. Imagine someone is chatting normally, then suddenly they get quiet and say, "Anyway, it's fine." That "anyway" is a transition, often used to end a topic prematurely, and "it's fine" is sometimes a mask. Advanced listeners notice that and respond gently. Repeat after me. "We don't have to talk about it now, but I noticed your tone changed. Are you okay?" This is advanced because it is observational, not accusing. It invites honesty. Now we practice a subtle daily life conversation that includes avoidance. Read it slowly and imagine the voice. "Yeah, I saw your message. I've been busy. You know how it is." This is vague. Busy can mean busy or overwhelmed or avoiding. "You know how it is" tries to normalize and close the discussion. Advanced listeners decide whether to accept it or clarify, depending on relationship and stakes. If it's low stakes, you can accept. No worries. Hope things calm down. If it matters, you clarify gently. Repeat after me. "I get it. I just want to check. Are we okay?" That one short question can save weeks of misunderstanding. Now we move into listening for emotional bargaining. Sometimes people ask indirectly for reassurance. They say things like, "You probably think I'm annoying. I'm not important anyway. It's okay. I'll just stop talking." Tsaka, these are not neutral statements. They are bids for reassurance. And advanced listeners respond to the insecurity beneath them. Repeat after me. "Hey, I don't see you that way. You're not annoying, and you matter to me." Now another version. "I'm here, and I want to hear you. You don't have to shrink yourself." These are advanced because they respond to the hidden need, reassurance, and safety. Now we train boundary plus kindness, because sometimes you must respond to emotional bargaining without reinforcing unhealthy patterns. You can reassure, but you can also guide the conversation toward direct requests. Repeat after me. "You matter to me, and I want to support you. But I need you to tell me directly what you need, not assume the worst." This is advanced communication born from advanced listening. Now, We go into a professional daily life scenario, a meeting where people use careful language and the real. Decisions are communicated through subtle cues. Phrases like, I have concerns, I'm hesitant, I'm not aligned. This might be premature. Yours, we need to socialize this. These are high level signals, and missing them can make you look unaware. Repeat these signals. I have concerns, I'm hesitant, I'm not aligned. This might be premature. We need to socialize this. Now, in your head, translate them. Concerns means possible objection. Hesitant means not ready. Not aligned means disagreement. Premature means too soon. Socialize means share with others before final decision. Now practice a clean response. That's helpful. Can you name your main concern so we can address it? What would make you feel more confident? What would need to change for you to be aligned? These questions are advanced because they invite specifics and move the group forward. Now we do a listening drill with a short professional passage. Imagine you hear, I like the direction. I just worry we're underestimating the complexity. And if we commit too early, we'll back ourselves into a corner. The key idea is risk, underestimating complexity. Committing too early, losing flexibility. An advanced listener hears that and responds with risk mitigation language. Repeat after me. That makes sense. How can we keep flexibility while still making progress? Now, another. What's the minimum commitment we can make today without locking ourselves in? These are C1, C2 responses because they meet a speaker at the level of their concern. Now we shift to a different kind of advanced listening. Listening when someone is upset and not fully logical, because real emotional speech is not tidy. And advanced fluency includes emotional fluency, the ability to understand someone even when their words are messy. Imagine someone says, I don't know. I just feel like nothing I do is enough, and everyone expects things, and I'm tired, and I'm trying, and it still feels like I'm failing. The key meaning is exhaustion and inadequacy. The speaker is overwhelmed, and the correct listening response is not problem solving first, it's regulation, calming, presence. Repeat after me. I'm really sorry you're feeling that way. That sounds heavy. Do you want me to just sit with you in it? Or do you want to think through one small next step? This is advanced because it offers emotional presence and practical support without forcing either. Now practice a simpler version. I'm here. You don't have to carry this alone. This is a powerful sentence. Short, human, and very fluent. Now we train reflective listening. This is when you repeat the meaning back to someone in your own words, not parroting, but reflecting. It proves you understood, and it often helps the speaker feel less alone. Repeat after me. So, what I'm hearing is, you've been trying hard, but you feel like the expectations keep moving, and you can't catch your breath. Is that right? This sentence is advanced because it summarizes and invites confirmation. Now we do a daily life scenario about money, one of the most delicate topics, where people often speak indirectly to avoid shame. Advanced listeners recognize shame language and respond gently. Imagine someone says, I'm trying to be smarter with my spending. I just, it's been bit out of control lately. Notice the hesitation. I just, the phrase a bit again, understatement. It may be more serious than a bit. And the speaker is exposing vulnerability. Your response practice. I respect you for saying that money stress is real. What's been making it harder lately? This response is advanced because it validates and invites context, not judgment. Now we train self-protection language. Sometimes people say, it's not a big deal, and I'm over it. It doesn't matter. And they say it too quickly. The speed can signal they're trying to convince themselves. Advanced listening notices speed and repetition, not to analyze, but to support appropriately. Repeat after me. Okay, if it truly doesn't matter, we can drop it. But if it does matter, I'm here. This line gives permission both ways, and that makes it safe. Now, a longer listening passage to close this section. Read it as if you're hearing a voice note from someone you care about, and then practice a response and a summary sentence. Someone said, I know I should be grateful, and I am, but I'm also tired of pretending I'm okay all the time. I keep showing up for everyone, and I'm proud of being strong. But sometimes I wish someone would notice without me having to explain. And I hate that I even feel that way. This is advanced because it contains contradiction, gratitude and exhaustion, pride and loneliness, strength and desire to be held, and also shame about needing care. An advanced listener hears the contradiction without trying to fix it, because humans are contradictory. And that is normal. Your response practice. Repeat after me. You don't have to earn care by being perfect. It's okay to need support. And I'm glad you told me. What would feel comforting right now? This response is advanced because it normalizes need and invites a specific request. Now, your summary sentence. Say it out loud. They are grateful but exhausted. They want to be noticed and supported, and they feel guilty for needing it. Excellent. This kind of listening is not only language skill, it is life skill. And when you can do it in English, you are operating at a truly advanced level. At this level, you're training two muscles at once. Your comprehension muscle and your emotional regulation muscle, because the moment you feel embarrassed or rushed, your brain narrows and you stop hearing nuance. So your goal is to stay wide, stay curious, stay steady. Let's do a final warm-up with a simple advanced habit. When you hear a long sentence, you do not translate, you summarize, and you don't wait until the end. You summarize as you go, like a quiet narrator in your mind. This keeps you engaged and prevents drift. Repeat after me. I'm going to listen for the main point, not every word. Again, I'm going to listen for the main point, not every word. Now, another line. If I miss something, I will ask calmly. One more time. If I miss something, I will ask calmly. Now we practice the art of asking for clarification at a C1, C2 level, because there is a big difference between what and could you clarify what you mean by that? One sounds abrupt, the other sounds polished. And you want polished, especially in professional and adult conversations. Repeat these clarification lines slowly. Could you clarify what you mean by that? When you say that, what are you referring to exactly? Just so I understand, are you saying A or B? Can you walk me through that one more time, a bit more slowly? Each one is respectful, specific, and very advanced. Now, we train something important. Listening to avoid assumptions, because at C1, C2, misunderstanding often comes from assumptions, not from missing words. You hear a phrase, you attach meaning too quickly, and you don't verify. The advanced listener verifies gently. Imagine someone says, "I'm keeping my distance lately." Many people assume rejection, but it could mean stress, depression, overload, or personal boundaries. So the advanced listener asks a neutral question instead of assuming the worst. Repeat after me. I understand. Is it about needing space in general, or is it something between us? This question is calm and precise. It invites truth without pressure. Now, we do an advanced listening challenge, interpreting politeness without over-trusting it. Because many people sound polite even when they are unhappy. They say no problem while feeling pressure. They say sure while feeling resentment. Advanced listeners notice mismatches and respond with care. Repeat this line. If this doesn't work for you, please tell me. I'd rather know than guess. Again, I'd rather know than guess. This language is powerful because it invites honesty and reduces silent tension. Now we do a shadowing style practice. I will give you a line, you repeat it out loud, then you repeat a paraphrase. This trains both listening and flexibility. Ready? Line 1. I'm not against it. I'm just hesitant. Paraphrase. I'm open to it, but I'm unsure. Line 2. I get the idea, but I'm not sold yet. Paraphrase. I understand, but I'm not convinced. Line 3. It's not that I don't care. I'm just overwhelmed. Paraphrase. I care. I'm just struggling right now. Now, we practice the most useful advanced daily life skill, summarizing someone's message back to them. This is reflective listening, and it makes people feel understood, which improves relationships and communication quality instantly. Repeat after me. So what I'm hearing is, you want progress, but you don't want to rush, and you're worried about consequences. Is that right? Now another version. So basically, you're okay, but you're tired, and you need a lighter week, right? Now another. It sounds like you're saying yes in principle, but you need clearer details first, correct? Mm. Now, we do a real-life listening passage with subtle cues. Read it slowly, picture the person speaking, and notice how they soften, how they pause, and where the real message sits. Someone said, I've been thinking about what you said, and I don't want you to feel like I ignored it. I just needed time to process because at first I felt defensive, and then later I realized you were right about some of it. Not all of it, but some. And I want to talk about it properly when we're both calm. The advanced listening here is noticing growth. They admit defensiveness, they admit partial agreement, and they request a calm conversation. The key phrase is talk about it properly when we're both calm. This means not now, not rushed, with emotional safety. Your response practice. Repeat after me. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you reflecting. Let's talk when we're both calm, and I'll listen too. Now, a second version. I really respect that. Let me know when you're ready. I'm not in a rush. Now, we practice a scenario that tests C1, C2 comprehension. Someone is speaking politely but delivering a clear boundary, and you must accept it without bargaining, because bargaining damages trust. Listen, I value our connection, but I can't keep having the same conversation on repeat. I'm willing to talk, but only if we're both willing to change something. This is a boundary plus condition. The condition is only if we're both willing to change something. Advanced listening hears the condition and responds with responsibility instead of pushing. Repeat after me. That's fair. I don't want to repeat patterns either. What would change look like for you? Specifically? This response is advanced because it respects the boundary and seeks clarity. Now, we train another difficult area, listening to fast emotional speech without getting swept away. The speaker might jump topics, accuse, soften, then apologize, all in 1 minute. Your job is to listen for the need beneath the noise. Imagine you hear, I don't know. I feel like you only show up when it's convenient. And then I feel stupid for caring. And I hate that I'm saying this, but I've been holding it in. And I don't want to explode later. The need is consistency, reassurance, safety, and a desire to prevent bigger conflict. Your response practice. Repeat after me. Thank you for saying it before it exploded. I'm sorry you've been holding that. Can you tell me what showing up would look like to you? In real terms? This is advanced because it validates timing and asks for a concrete definition. Now we do a quick drill for concrete definition. Because vague words cause arguments. Words like respect, effort, support, communication are important, but vague. Advanced listeners ask for examples. Repeat these questions. When you say more support, what would that be? One message a day, a call, help with a task? Tukutint. When you say better communication, semenze, do you mean faster replies, clearer plans, or less uncertainty? When you say respect, Reese, what behavior makes you feel respected? These questions are gold. Use them in daily life. Now we close with a final long listening practice story. This one blends daily routines, social nuance, and emotional intelligence. Read it like audio, let it flow, and then you'll do 3 tasks. Summarize, extract key phrases, and repeat them out loud. This morning, I promised myself a calmer pace, but my phone started buzzing early. Someone needed a quick decision. Someone else needed reassurance, and another person wanted to vent. And by noon, I realized my attention had been borrowed in tiny pieces all day. So when I finally sat down to eat, I felt strangely empty, not because I was alone, but because I hadn't been fully present with anything. And that's when a friend called and said, I don't want to dump things on you, but I'm having a hard time. And you're the person I trust the most. Do you have the space to listen, or should I call later? That sentence is advanced in every way. It includes care, permission, and respect for boundaries. Do you have the space to listen? Is a high-level question because it protects both people. It prevents resentment and it invites an honest yes or no. Now, your response practice. Repeat after me. Thank you for checking. I care about you, but I'm a bit drained today. Can we talk in an hour when I can listen properly? This response is advanced because it is honest and still warm. Now repeat a second option. Yes, I have space. Tell me what's going on. I'm here with you. And the third option. I want to be there for you, but I'm not in the best headspace right now. Can we pick a time later today? These are mature responses, and they come from mature listening. Now, your summary sentence, say it out loud. She felt drained from constant demands, and her friend asked respectfully for space to share, giving permission to say yes or no. Now, extract 3 key phrases from that story and repeat them slowly. Do you have the space to listen, or should I call later? I'm a bit drained today. Can we talk when I can listen properly? I want to be there for you, but I'm not in the best headspace right now. These are C1, C2 phrases because they balance honesty and care. Before we end, I want you to lock in one final habit. After any English conversation, ask yourself one question. What was the intention? Not what were the words. What was the intention? If you train intention, your listening becomes faster, deeper, and more accurate. Repeat after me. I listen for intention. Again, I listen for intention. And one last line, I can handle real English, calmly. One more time. I can handle real English, calmly. Thank you for practicing with me today. Keep replaying the parts you find challenging. Shadow the sentences out loud and notice how your ear improves when your body is relaxed. If you want more advanced listening practice like this, stay connected, and I'll see you again very soon.